Hey, long time no see. I missed last week's video. There was a lot going on. That's what I'm doing a video about right now. I'm sitting in my truck. It's windy and pouring down rain outside. It's kind of loud in the RV. And last time I noticed that the AC kicked on like the last half of the video, and it kind of made it a little hard to hear. So since I can't film outside, I'm just filming in here. So this is one of those days that just being in an RV kind of sucks. You know, you're in a small space with rain, but it happens. We got out for a little bit. Me and Peyton went and watched a movie. Jen went down and got her hair done from her aunt at her shop, and we just kind of met back up. We'll probably go out to dinner to get out. But it's been a rough couple of days. Well, I mean, it's gotten better the past couple, but so anyways, last weekend we were supposed to leave on Monday. Saturday we went and saw Jen's sister who lives in Austin. We wanted to see her before she left. Well, when we got to the apartment, we brought Blue because Blue, our dog, his baby mama is my sister-in-law's dog. Her name's Coco. So we brought Blue, and the steps at the apartment were kind of weird. You had to step down and then you had to step up, and it's a second story. Well, when she was stepping down, Blue got wrapped around her leg and it twisted her knee, and her kneecap popped out of place. It was very painful, and she basically could not walk. She was pretty much invalid. And I mean, she's walking a lot better now, but basically the rest of the prep work for the RV, getting set up to come up here to Arkansas, like getting all the storage cleaned out, you know, getting the RV cleaned up, getting everything packed, it kind of all fell to me because she needed the rest, because she was going to have to drive her van. She had one day to kind of try to get it a little bit better so she could drive her van. So I didn't want to really do anything. I just kind of took over everything. So we left on Monday, and we left probably around 1 o'clock. I think it was around 1 o'clock, which we knew we were going to get a late start because we had quite a bit to do still. And we'd already planned on just staying at a hotel. We parked in the parking lot in Durant, Oklahoma, and just stayed at a hotel. I know, you should have just paid, you know, it would have been a lot cheaper to just stay at an RV park and just kind of do this, you know, what we needed to hook up to sleep and everything, but we just didn't want to do it because we had a bunch of stuff from our storage that we were hauling in the RV as well as our vehicles. It just made it kind of unrealistic. So everything was good. We made it in, no problems. But then the next morning, almost as soon as I pulled out, my trailer brakes locked up. I was like, crap. Okay, so we're on this little side street. Thankfully, we're not out in the middle of nowhere, or I mean, we're not like in a busy area. And I'm sitting there trying to figure out what the heck's wrong with my trailer brakes, because they won't let me go anymore. So we pull over, and I'm kind of scrambling because I've never dealt with something like this before. You know, I'm new to full-time. You know, we're new to full-time RVing. We've taken, you know, 5 or 6 trips, I think, with our RV. We've watched plenty of videos, but you know, what do you do in your truck? You know, your trailer brakes just lock up like that. So we started doing some testing, trying to figure things out. Come to find out, every time we would unplug, you know, the cable from the back of the truck, the tow cable, that went to the RV, it would unlock the brakes. Okay, but every time we plugged it back in and then we tried to go, it would relock the brakes. So we thought it was something with the trailer. I tried to call a couple of places locally. Nobody was answering. One was on vacation. One didn't do repairs, but they did tell me I might want to go ahead and try cutting my emergency brake. You know, the trailer brake, like you have the little wire running with your chains, and if that happens to come off, it like automatically breaks your trailer. Granted, this is a pretty, you don't really want to do it unless you have to, but everything I was reading about pointed to that could be exactly what was the problem. And those can be fixed because you really kind of want to have those running. So I cut both the wires, because when I cut the first one, it didn't work. Like I cut the ground and it didn't work. So I cut the red, didn't work either. I'm like, what am I going to do now? So I was just kind of sitting there. It was frustrating. I felt helpless. My wife and, you know, son were in the van in front of me, and, you know, I was cussing and stuff, not at her. I'm proud of myself for that, because, you know, she's just trying to help, and she come to, you know, sometimes you get frustrated, helpless, you're wanting to lash out. I didn't do that, thankfully, but we're just trying to figure out what to do and trying to watch videos and stuff, and just not having that whole lot of mechanical experience with this vehicle yet. what I found out with all the different things, because I was looking underneath the trailer, I'm like, is there any lines that look like they're frayed? Is anything coming loose? You know, trailer looked fine. What I found was, as long as I did not plug in to the back of the truck and just kept everything hooked up, I could run. You know, the brakes wouldn't lock up. This meant that I was running without brakes, or you know, brake assist on the trailer, and I was running without lights, which I was more leery about the lights because I just got the brakes and rotors, both sets replaced on my truck, because I wanted to make sure we were, you know, safe for towing. So I was more concerned about the lights. But luckily, we have not sold my wife's van yet. We were going to do that up here in Arkansas. So she was actually riding behind me. We drove about an hour and a half to a trailer repair place out in the middle of nowhere. And they took a look at it. They ran all the tests and stuff. The trailer was completely fine. It was my truck. Something messed up in the 12-volt system on the truck, and I started getting like a trailer wiring error, like coming up on my dash. And then also there was like a trailer module fail, like after about 30 minutes after I started towing without the cable in. So whenever they checked everything over and they hooked up to the truck, that was where the problem was at. It wasn't getting 12-volt current. So they started looking around. It's a trailer company. They do trailer repair. They know enough about the trucks, but not in this individual truck. They were trying to see if they could actually bypass the 12-volt by, you know, pulling a fuse or something, but they looked through the manual, could not figure it out, went and got online, couldn't figure out how to do it. It looks like there's not a set of fuses for this. It could be all computer activated. So what I'm going to end up having to do is take it into the dealership and get a diagnostic done and get them to fix the problem. We had a lot going on when we first got here, so I didn't want to try to get that set up, but I've got the appointment. It's going to be June 3rd. So we're going to be up here like almost another 2 weeks on top of that, and luckily we've got my wife's van, so I'm going to take it in. Hopefully they'll fix it within a day or two, because that's when my appointment is. I don't need to leave my vehicle with them beforehand. So we'll get that fixed, so that's taken care of. So, you know, we were stuck working on that for a couple hours. We got in late on Tuesday. Oh, by the way, when we left San Antonio, this was the kicker. I forgot to tell you this. It was pouring down rain. Like the last hour that I was like hooking everything up with the RV, like I got soaked to the bone. Like I took all my clothes off when I got inside, put new clothes on, and just threw those clothes in like the outdoor storage, because they were just completely soaked, which is probably a good thing. I needed a shower because I'd already been sweating all day hauling stuff. But yeah, that was the final FU from San Antonio when we left. And then of course we got in major traffic pretty much all the way to Dallas. And then through Dallas was actually pretty easy, but all rain. So, you know, we're a little stressed out and stuff by the time we get up here. But the cool thing was we got here in enough time where we were able to go up there and surprise everybody. We're actually staying about 45 minutes from where most of the family is for the first 2 weeks, and then we're going to move a lot closer because this is what we could get into. But we were able to surprise everybody. We put on a FaceTime or whatever, and they realized where we were at when we were FaceTiming them, and then they came ran outside. It was pretty cool. So I got to see my daughter. We haven't seen her in 6 months. She's been down here going to school. We might explain more about that eventually, but she is going to be coming with us when school gets out, which is cool. So the past couple of days have just been kind of decompressing, getting caught up on eBay because, you know, I took 2 days off. I was still listing, but because I didn't want to shut down my store, because shutting down your store, like putting on vacation mode, it will screw you up. Like it'll take a week to get your listings back up in the algorithm. So whenever possible, try not to put yourself on vacation. Just, you know, maybe lengthen your shipping time. So when I took 2 or 3 days off, I had quite a bit to ship. So I had to get all that done. We had to get set up here. We went and visited everybody. You know, we got everything cleaned up and you know, unpacked here. And then we were only in the site we were in for 3 days. And then we had to move to our current site that we were staying at for 14. The reason why is because we were going to come in and stay here 14 days, but we're like, why are we waiting? Because Peyton was already pretty much done with school. We were pulling him out because he had all his testing done. He's going, homeschooling full time. So we're like, why are we going to wait another 4 days? Why not just go now? So whenever we made the reservation, they could not get us in the same site for those other 3 days. So again, we had to move. We moved 4 sites down. So it's just, it was just a lot. And this weekend, we got to hang out with everybody, and we went and did some family stuff. I had my niece here, my daughter, everybody was staying here. Had to rework how my inventory sits because now that bottom bunk is taken because my daughter's coming on the weekends, and I need to get used to not having it anyway. So taking that time to just reconfigure everything, going through and seeing like, is there any inventory I wanted to get rid of, or anything else that I could possibly get rid of, and refiguring all my boxes. The way this setup is, like, you can't have organized storage where you have certain bins that have certain items and you can actually put that in like a SKU or something, because you're constantly having to shift stuff around because you're having to create space. You can't just have, in the small setup I have, you can't just have, okay, this box is for video games, this box is for electronics. Sometimes you might have a ton of video games and they roll over into electronics, or you have, housewares or something. It's just, you guys will see. Like, I really was going to do a tour the Sunday right before we left, because we were going to have the house clean and everything, or the RV clean. We call it our house now. But then Jen's knee went out, and then everything else happened, and it just, so now I'm behind again. So I just wanted to update everybody on what's been going on and show you, or at least tell you that, it's not all hunky-dory. You have these kind of times. In fact, more often than not, there's going to be things that you're going to constantly be doing repairs on your RV. We've got trim issues everywhere, but that's not the big thing. Here's the kicker. Another one I forgot to say. Okay, so we have a front window on our RV, like a front cap window that's in our bedroom. Great, awesome thing to have. You can open, you can open the shade and you got all that light coming in. You can just look out. But they did not seal it very well. And we had a leak, and we think it started leaking in San Antonio, and then we really noticed it here when it started pouring, because I guess it finally got saturated. So right under the window on my side, when I woke up, it was like 3 or 4 days ago, my pillow was wet, because my pillow butts right up against that window area because I'm so tall and it's a short queen. So we didn't really notice it until, like, I went in like this, and I'm like, why is my neck wet? I'm like, I was not sweating or anything. So I started looking around, my pillows are soaked. And that's when I could see the drip coming down from the bottom, and I was like, crap. So our, somewhat brand new RV from 2022, we've had it for 2 years now. I had to pull out a bunch of the paneling, and Jen said she was about to cry, seeing me like pull all the paneling and insulation off. It was like probably about this big of an area that I had to pull off. There was some mold in there on the inside of the paneling, so that's why it makes me think that it had been doing it already in San Antonio, because it looked a little older than something that just happened the previous day. So I got all that cleaned out, got all the insulation cleaned out, sprayed it all down with mold and mildew stuff, scrubbed the boards. It's all cleaned up. Eventually I'll show that with the tour, because you got to show the ugly warts too, right? But we're going to leave it open right now. There's actually an RV tech here in the park, which that's the thing to remember. If you're staying at an RV park, always ask the front office if there are any RV techs or repairmen that live in the RV park, because chances are there's going to be somebody. Same thing with like a car wash, an RV wash person. There's probably somebody here. I know there's one here because he was doing a bunch yesterday. But I got him over here, and we got it all resealed with some RV sealant, and it's raining today, and so far no problem. So we think that's fixed. We're gonna wait probably a couple weeks just to make sure. We get moved a couple times before I go through, and I'm gonna basically have to do that whole front wall on the inside, repanel it, because now I've taken off part of the paneling. I'd like to show you guys that, but like I said, I'm out here because of what's going on, and when we do the tour, which God forbid it goes another week, hopefully it should be this next week, you guys will get to see that. But yeah, that's what's been going on. It's been great so far, just getting to see everybody and just be up here. I love Northwest Arkansas. We lived here for a long period of time. We've been in San Antonio 15 years, but this is kind of one of those places that you feel at home. It's like the mountains speak to your soul, and it's just nice to be back, even though there's so much new stuff, especially in Bentonville and Rogers, that area. Like, it's becoming quite a little like Austin area type feel, like a lot of cafes, a lot of walkability, a lot of bike parks, and just a lot of people walking the downtown. And it's different. It's not bad, it's just different, because I was there before it really started getting really built up. There's a lot of fields, cows still right in the middle of towns. Now you're seeing big subdivisions, stuff like that, which it's great for garage sailing. I did get to go out on Saturday for a little bit with my daughter, and that was cool. and it was okay. There we found a lot of sales in like a small period, but there just wasn't a whole lot that I was able to find. We kind of cut it short because we had stuff to go do. Um, but I did find like probably around 50 Nintendo Power magazines in good shape that were from like the late 90s. I think I found like a Red Dead Redemption 2, or I can't remember right now, book that goes for like $100. It's the strategy guide, and like a couple of video games. Nothing really big, but it was enough to, get out and just. I was worried like, hey, am I going to find anything down here? But the sales were good. I was able to find sales. It just there, you have those times where you could go to 20 sales and you find one or two items. That's going to happen sometimes, and I realized that it was just nice to get out there and do some sale, some garage selling here. Hopefully this weekend's good and I'll get to go back out. But yeah, it looks like the rain's finally stopping. I'm gonna go inside. We're probably gonna head out and go get some dinner here. But I just wanted to update you guys. I'm really sorry I didn't do a video last week. But you get to see the downside of doing this too. Stuff's gonna happen, and how you react to it is gonna determine whether this is gonna be a good experience or a bad experience for you. It's not just about trying to figure out the sell inside and live inside. It's how you're gonna deal with these problems that will come up. Okay. So remember that too. That's a big part of this. If you enjoyed the video or you want to stay updated, go ahead and like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.